Good morning, guys. MWUSA Season 5, Episode 20. Yes, it looks like we're going to continue on here. Just had our 1,000th episode, and very grateful for everything. Grateful for you guys, and I think we're going to keep on going for a while. Today is Friday. It is Friday morning, and a lot has happened already. It's only 9 o'clock right now. But I left home early. I went to the office. I checked in. I left. I went back home. I got my snowblower out. I've got someone coming over to pick it up. I really don't care about having one anymore. But we're supposed to get up to 12 inches of snow between Saturday and Sunday. So that could be an issue. So he'll have that fixed hopefully today and get that back tomorrow. So I had that all ready to go for him. And then we left home, and we're continuing on to our first casino. But a lot of things are going to happen before we get there. We're going to stop for a team meeting, and then another team meeting right after that. So that's 2 hours gone. So we're not actually going to get to our first casino till probably 1 o'clock in the afternoon, which means if I go straight home and don't do anything, then it'll already be after 5 p.m. So it looks like today could be one of the longer days. I actually had some network issues with my phone as well. Right now it looks like it's okay, but had some issues this morning. I kind of feel like I figured out what the problem is. I think it's an older phone, and with the 5G networks, it allows 5G. With the 5G networks and having my laptop going, watching YouTube and listening to podcasts the whole time I'm driving, it's always right around the same area that it always drops off and has an issue. And the last few times I've just turned off my work laptop and stopped the YouTube videos and waited like 20 minutes and didn't have a problem the whole trip. So I think it just might be too much data running through it, and there's some kind of limit that's hitting. But today looks like a beautiful day outside, but it's actually a very cold day, and it's setting things up for a very cold day coming up. Right now it's 13 degrees. Sorry about that. 13 degrees. 11 degrees. Feels like minus 6 degrees. Heavy snow expected between 8 and 12 inches, and travel will be very difficult due to slippery road conditions and poor visibility. Hazardous conditions should impact Monday morning commute, and then there's a whole bunch of other stuff. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting next couple days. Right now, there's no snow on the ground. The area I'm going to has a little bit of snow, but not too bad. But things should start getting bad tomorrow, and so I may be out all night tonight for a couple reasons to get the time in. Because Sunday I may not be able to travel due to weather conditions, and also obviously just to try to make a little bit more money tonight. I'm fresh, I'm feeling good, but I'm going to be delayed quite a bit on my way to my first casino. So it'll be at least 1 o'clock before I get there. So hopefully the meetings are short, but I'm not very confident about that. So anyway, that's what's going on right now. You're all caught up, and I'll come back and update you soon. All right, guys, I am back, and I just finished the meeting, the first meeting, and I thought they were back-to-back, but they're not. So we're actually going to be able to play before lunch, which is nice, when you leave home at, 6 or 7 in the morning, So I stop at this gas station, and I didn't get any gas, which is cool because I'm going to stop at this gas station on the way home and get fuel. But while I was sitting there, to my right there was no snow. To my left it was like a blizzard. So it's like that line right there, that road, that exit was like the line where it was snowing and not snowing. So I think for the rest of the trip it's going to be snow, and then when I get home for tomorrow, the snow will start there, up to 12 inches of snow tomorrow, which Hopefully that's wrong. In the past, it's always been wrong. In the past, they'll say like 4 inches, and it'll end up being like a dusting. So hopefully it's like that this time. But yeah, everything is cool now. The roads at this point are clean and dry and everything. It's just starting the storm. So hopefully it doesn't last too long. Hopefully the roads are good the rest of the way. And let's get some blackjack in. So letting you go for now, and I'll be back. Alright guys, I am back. So here's the situation right now is I'm not finding anything. Bad weather is coming in. People are staying home. It's very cold outside. It's negative with the wind chill in this area. So it's pretty quiet, but for some reason the tables are very busy. There's 3 pits in this casino also. And the high limit pit is like 4 people. That would put me in the system, so that's no good. The low limit has 2 sections. One section has a lady who would put me in. The other section has nobody who would put me in, but the tables are full. And then there's a back section, the scummy, nasty section. And there's been 3 people on that one table the whole time since I've been here. I'm up like 220 on slots right now, but not looking too hot for blackjack. So man, the music's so loud right now. But I'm thinking I'll go back to the scummy area here and see if I can sit down and play some blackjack if there's any room. If not, I may have to leave and come back later on. So anyway, that's what's going on right now. I'm ahead a couple hundred on slots, and I'll be back. Alright guys, I am back. So did get a chance to play a little bit of blackjack. There was a side bet that's exploitable, beatable, whatever, and I sat down to play that. I waited until it was right there, and then I sat down. It was a fresh shoe, and started playing, and immediately count starts going up. But I'm not making any money, but the count's going up. I'm raising my bet. Then eventually kind of starts to level off, and then starts to go back down again. I had like a true 3 at one point, and by the time that the play was over, the count was exactly 0. So played a couple more hands, went negative, and I ended up walking away plus 238. So plus 238. I was going for the side bet, ended up losing 50 on the side bet, but still ending up ahead 238 for the session. I had a 1 in 5 chance of getting the side bet, and it paid $500. So, yeah, I mean, I'm getting basically 2 to 1 on my money, assuming I'm going to spend $50. So, and it was exactly 50. So, anyway, right now we are looking around for some other stuff, and I'll come back and update you. Not too much going on, pretty slow. Minus 16 outside with the wind chill. So, that's how bad it is right now. I'll be back. Alright guys, I am back. It's going to be chilly here, I can tell you that. I'm in here with no jacket on, and I'm going outside at minus 16 degrees with the wind chill. So, just getting in the elevator. Alright, hold on. Alright, other people getting in the elevator, so I had to pause it, but yeah, pretty chilly out here. Just going to my car. Hopefully the laptop is good. We'll get it warmed up here for a minute. And we'll move on to another spot, but definitely a chilly day. Hopefully my laptop is okay. Talked to my wife. I'm going to use one of those bags to stay warm bags. Oh yeah, it's like flashing and all kinds of stuff. Personality. Alright, so we're going to use one of those bags that you use to keep your food hot or cold or whatever. And I'm going to put that in the car with the laptop. That way the laptop will stay charged and it won't be too cold, because this is obviously not a good thing here. Let me see here. Put the internet on for it. And mouse jiggler, push that in. We should be good. So now we're working again. No, we got to work. So that was a very long and exhausting session. Let's see what this guy's saying. Long and exhausting session, and not a lot of money. I did play some slots. I was ahead like 200, then 290, then I was down to like minus 30, and back and forth, and I ended up leaving ahead 167 on the slots. So plus 167 there. My mouse is working fine today. That's weird. Yesterday it wasn't working, and it's connected to my phone, but I don't see internet on here. I did play that one blackjack session as well, and that was okay. It was a short session. I was doing it for a side bet, and it ended up working out, but I missed the side bet, so I ended that session ahead 238, so we're up like 400. So it's kind of like yesterday, almost. Now the place I'm going to next, I need to have my coat on because I need to look a little bit different, and this coat is a little bit bulky and hides some of my beautiful features. And then I'll wear a hat as well, and that way it's kind of different here looking. Have you seen silver today? My goodness, it's over 102, over 102. And just in the last 3 weeks, if I wanted to cash out, which I'm not cashing out, I made enough money off silver, off a $9,000. Well, there's a $9,000 investment, but also I had a stock investment too that's up 30%. I think that was about $10,000. But just off the $9,000, I'm up like 25,000, which is enough for the cabinets and the countertops for the kitchen. But I'm not going to cash it out. I'm going to keep it in there. I mean, it would have to go to like a ridiculous number that's going to make me scared before I pull it out, because I'm in such good shape. Even if it goes down 5 or 6% 2 days in a row, I'm still so far ahead. I think it's worth the risk at this point. But right now, we're going to move on to another place, hopefully get some blackjack in, and then we'll figure out what to do from there. I talked to my wife, and she's good with me staying overnight. But if it's going to be this temperature, do I really want to be in my car and have the car running nonstop for hours and hours? I don't think so. If I went home right now, it would be more than dark by the time I got there. It's already 4 p.m. So I've been here for a minute. But let's head over to this next casino. Maybe we can make some money there, and then we'll feel a little bit better about leaving the area. So that's what's going on right now. Car reads 4 degrees outside, minus 16 with the wind chill. I'll be back. All right, guys, I am back, and definitely cold outside, getting colder every second. Went in there. Possibility of blackjack. So I kind of separate casinos into kind of like two groups, ones that are only slots and ones that have table games. The ones that have table games have other opportunities, even if they're only for 1 or 2 hands or for 10 or 15 minutes. It's enough opportunity to create some kind of extra EV. So when I go into a casino like that, I like to see a $200 to $500 gain if possible. And the other casinos are just slots only. If I don't have any kind of free play, there's no kind of special or anything like that, they're worth about $100 to me, because I'm going in, I'm doing 1 lap, maybe 2 laps if I'm there for a long time on one machine. It creates another opportunity. And I'm going to leave. And so just think of it that way. There's a higher level and a lower level casino. The closest one to my house is the lower level casino. So when I get a chance to possibly play tables and then I'm not able to get any table time in, it's kind of disappointing, because I'm expecting to be able to get something in. So in this case, no table time. Although they did have tables, they had nothing that was playable. I did take some notes in there to update my spreadsheet. But I did play some slots. And first play, I was ahead about 75. Second play, I lost about 50 of it, so I'm up like a quarter. Third play, I lost like $400 and something. And then the last 2 plays, I was able to make it back. I was leaving ahead about $12 and found one more and played that one through. And after I played that one through, I ended ahead $120. So that's my wife saying, "Where are you? It's dark and dinner's ready." And unfortunately, I'm still about 3 hours away. And I've been driving for a while here. I've just had other stuff that I was working on. So yeah, I only ended up making about $120 there. and we're going to continue on here, and I'll be back to update you shortly. All right, guys, I am back, and all right, I stopped and got some fuel. We are continuing our trip. We're going to be doing some online play here in a little bit, so I'll be back to let you know how that goes. Let's do some segments, though. What did you eat today, MW? I actually had some pepperoni pizza, which I'm not supposed to be eating right now, but I was hungry and had a hard day. Worked really hard. A lot of stuff happened today. I had about 11,000 steps today, and did everything I could to make money, up and down. And maybe my storytelling isn't as good as it used to be. And part of it is I'm not playing as many tables as I used to because I'm not getting that opportunity. When you play tables, you can talk about hands, you can talk about people at the tables and stuff like that. When you're playing slots, unless I'm going to tell you which machines I'm playing and what they were at when I sat down, which I can't do, then it makes it kind of boring. You just say the first slot, the second slot, the third slot, I did this, this, and this. So, but I did work hard today, had some pepperoni pizza. It was okay. I give it like an 8 on a scale of 2 through 8. I'm good with no carbs, really. I mean, carbs don't make me feel very good anyway. You feel weighted down, you feel groggy, all that stuff. So I'm okay with low carb diets. And what did you tip today, MW? I tipped, let me carry the one, $0. I tipped $0 today. And what did you learn today, MW? So far, actually, that reminds me of a story I'm going to tell you, too. What did I learn? I learned that even though some of these casinos are opening back up to me again, I'm still pretty thin on table games right now. And the inevitable solution is for me to start working at night and not in the daytime, and I hate that, but that would mean that I don't know when I would sleep, because I would do my job in the daytime, maybe my job and another job, because what am I going to do? And then I would travel in the evening, I would play overnight, and then I'd be back home in the morning for my job. So I got to figure out how I'm going to make that happen. So we are going to be going to Vegas. You're the first ones to hear about it. A friend of mine is going to be there mid-February, so we are going to schedule it just after Valentine's Day. Check with the wife and make sure it's cool, and I'll get that booked here in the next day or two. We'll be probably locked in the house for the next 2 days anyway, with this big snowstorm coming. So one thing that happened today is I wanted to go play some blackjack, and I went to the low limit, couldn't find anything. Other low limit, couldn't find anything. Went to the high limit, and there's 4 pit bosses there. All 4 of them know my name. And I'm like, I'm not going to sit down. And so I stood behind a baccarat table, and I thought, let me just stand here and watch and see what the pit bosses do. So one of the pit bosses, the one that I had the frank conversation with a while back, came up and said, "Hey, how's it going?" I said, "Fine, how you doing?" "Oh, I'm good." I said, "I'm not going to play, right?" He goes, "Oh, really?" I said, "Yeah, because I don't have any privacy here, so I'm just here to watch a little baccarat. I'm going to play some slots, and I'll head over to this other casino that I mentioned that's nearby, and that's where I've been playing blackjack instead of here." And I said, "You guys are missing out. I'm down a bunch of money over there," which is not true. So he's like, "Oh, okay." So I decided that I'm going to start doing this every time I come here. I'm going to start saying, I'm only here to play a few slots, and then I'm going to go to this other casino to play blackjack because I don't have any privacy. And I want to see what happens after about 5 or 6 times of doing that, if they say anything. And honestly, I don't care if I lose the casino at this point, because my only ways out right now are to keep doing that until they stop bothering me and stop putting my information in, A. B, to play hard and get backed off, but then they know my information, and then, it might be future issues. Or C, just stop going there. And I kind of feel like that this is the best of the 3, because if I stop going there, I lose money instantly. If I play hard and get backed off and they have my name, now their whole network knows my name. Or the third option is just to kind of be a jerk, kind of like passive aggressive, stand right in the middle of the high limit room and keep mentioning that they don't give me my privacy. I can't play here because they don't give me my privacy over and over again, and see what happens. I bet no AP has ever done that before. Tell me an AP who's done that. I can't think of anybody who has just stood in the middle of a high limit room daring them to say something. So we'll see how that all turns out. It's funny. I mean, it reminds me of another casino, and I remember walking in and after about 10 minutes seeing a guy who had asked me for my ID previously, and I said no. I said I'd rather leave, and he's like, yeah, but you bought in for too much. I said, so what? I said, I'm not giving you my ID. He goes, you're over the $10,000 limit. I said, then put in a suspicious activity report. And he didn't know what to say, and I ended up leaving, and then I started going to this casino every week or two after that at a different shift. Luckily, that shift was like a Sunday night shift, which is, I would never normally go there at that time. And I lasted like 3 more months going in the morning shift and I would park down the street and pay money to park until one day this guy saw me. And I'd been playing for, I don't know, 10 minutes or something. And he came up to the table, and it was like the end of the shoe, and he said, well, that's okay, that's going to be your last hand anyway. And I said, why? And he said, didn't I ask you for your ID last time and you said no? I said, yeah. And he said, didn't I tell you that if you didn't give us the ID, you couldn't play here anymore? I said, yeah. He goes, then you're going to have to leave. I said, but I did give him the ID. He goes, what do you mean? I said, I made a card, and they put me in the system. I've even won a jackpot on that card. And he looked it up, and he's like, oh, okay. He didn't know what to say, because after that back-off had happened, I did win a jackpot, and I was a little nervous about what was going to happen. And at that point, I didn't have a card there, but they had, this company had bought another company that I did have a card with, so they created a card for me. Actually, that brings up another story. So when I got my jackpot, they gave me a player's card. Also, they're like, oh, here's your player's card. I made one for you. Oh, okay. So then he put me in the system. And what he did was he went back and he looked up the date when I had the issue with them, and he put in all the play from that date on the current date, if that makes sense. So it looked like I bought in for an incredible amount of money, and it looked like, although I maybe made whatever $500 or $700 or $800, it looked like I lost about $15,000. So then after that, I started getting these tremendous offers, and because they had purchased another company and they created a new card for me, I actually had 2 cards in the system. So for a while, I was getting bonuses on 2 different cards, free meals on 2 different cards, and free stuff like gift cards, gifts, things like that on 2 different cards. And one day, one of the people was like, wait, didn't I just give you one of these? I'm like, yeah, but I have 2 different cards. And at that point, he's like, no, you're not allowed to have 2 cards. I said, I've done this like 5 times. No, and he took the card away from me, and they closed that card. And so then after that, I only had the 1 card. Well, at this point, they were giving me like $300 in food a couple times a week at least, and like $500 or $600 in free bets for like the next 3 or 4 months. And I just kept using them and using them and using them until they didn't give me anything else. And then I kind of stopped going there for a long time. It was a long time after that before they decided, you know, we haven't done a rundown on this guy in a while. Let's see if he's counting cards. And I kind of figured out, like, at least once when they were doing that, and played like the inverse. So when the count was high, I bet low. When the count was low, I bet like double or triple the bet. and I actually ended up somewhat even. I don't remember if I was up a little bit or down a little bit that day, but I did it on purpose, and I may have left down maybe, I don't remember, maybe for some reason 400 or 1600, one of those two numbers sticks in my head. So I ended up leaving down. So then I lasted for another like year and a half, and then finally I had a day where I won. I was down like 5,600 and came back and ended up ahead for the day, like 5 or 6 or 700, and ended up that day. I ended up cashing out at the cashier, going to the poker room and cashing out, using some of my other chips to buy into a poker game, playing poker, and going back to the cashier and cashing out again, the same poker cashier, and then going into the main desk again with a different cashier and cashing out. So I cashed out 4 times, and then the next time I came in, they gave me a trespass notice. So, it's like, just because they say you're done doesn't necessarily mean you're done. You've got to be creative. And I remember later on at this casino, in between when I said no to the ID, after I gave them my ID, and sometime in the next year I had a bad losing session, like 7,000 or 8,000, and the manager came to me and said, hey, I just want to talk to you, and I did an episode on this one. I was doing the podcast at this point. I just want to make sure that you're all right, and there's no problem or anything like that, because the dealer kind of got the impression like maybe you couldn't afford this much, or something, that you were in distress, and we just want to make sure that you're okay. And I'm like, well, this is nice, it's all working the way I wanted to. I lost, which was unfortunate, so anyway, that day he's like, I'll take care of you, don't worry. And I thought he was going to give me some chips to play with because I was down a bunch of money. And he's like, well, I'll give you whatever you want from this. And it was like a bar. I'm like, what do I want from the bar? You're taking someone that you think that may be upset or in distress, as you say, or you're worried about my safety, and you're going to give me alcohol? This is your solution? And they had a glass case, and there were cigars in there. And I said, I'll take some cigars. And they gave me like, I don't know, like $300, $400 in cigars. And I talked about it on my podcast, and I met Walter White, who lives in Vegas, who I've done advantage play with, him and his wife, including Spotter BP play, and been successful with them, and actually introduced them to my family, all because of those cigars. So it's so interesting, all that stuff. But anyway, right now I'm going to let you go. Like I said, we're going to be doing some other stuff. We're going to be doing some online and stuff. I've got 10 people texting me right now, and I'll be back to update you. All right, guys, had a little bit of online action here. Made about $100, so that's good. And I think probably a good time to wrap it up for the day and enjoy the evening with the family. It's been a long day. I went to the same gas station to get gas tonight that I stopped at 11 hours prior, or 10 hours prior, to do my meeting. So it's been a long day. Didn't make a lot of money, but you know what? It is a lot of money. And if I go back to season 1, I guarantee you I was excited about $200. And to make 400 or 500, 600, including the online, is pretty darn good for a day. It's hard to maintain because I will have one of those bad days, and hopefully not soon. That really wipes out a lot, and the way that I play, I'll win $500, $600, $700, $800, 20 times, and then lose $6,000. So hopefully that day is far off. And I think we had one in December and a couple in November. Maybe I have to go back and look. I need to look at those stats actually and see how many big drop days that I had, because last year was not bad at all. So hopefully that continues. But where I am right now, no snow on the ground, and in the next 36 hours, 12 inches of snow expected. So I will keep you updated, and for now I'm going to let you go. If you have any questions or comments, my email is mwusa21@gmail.com, mwusa21@gmail.com. See you next time.